Good evening. Welcome to the Dugout. We are a couple of days away from the India-New Zealand series from starting, particularly the ODIs. All eyes are going to be on Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, as they always are. But while that is going to be happening, there is also another storm that's brewing in the world of cricket, and that is with regards to Bangladesh's participation in the T20 World Cup. And now, as things are panning out and as we are getting to know more and more information, it does look like it might just become a major standpoint. It might just be a situation that can affect not just this tournament but the future of cricket in general. You can also be looking at some sort of politics being played, or even the cricketing world being split if both parties dig their heels in and refuse to budge, which does seem to be the case at the moment. There has been a lot of to and fro between the ICC and the Bangladesh Cricket Board. All this while the BCCI has been waiting. Today, as you know, WPL is starting, and on the sidelines, all the big wigs of BCCI are going to be there, and the chairman of the ICC, Jay Shah, is also going to be there. And what we believe is there are going to be informal meetings over this entire Bangladesh fiasco. Because remember, while ICC will be firefighting, India are party to this entire tournament as hosts. So, and they are also party to where things are at the moment, because it was a decision taken by the BCCI in which they, sent orders for Kolkata Knight Riders to let go of Mustafizur Rahman, and that has been the catalyst of where we are at the moment. So that's why I'm saying these are the three parties. That's Bangladesh Cricket Board, or Bangladesh as a country, Board of Control for Cricket in India, or India as a country, and then the International Cricket Council. So three parties to it, and that's why I said the next 2-3 days are going to be very crucial. Either ways, a decision will have to be made. Either you'll have a tournament without Bangladesh, or you'll have a tournament in the manner in which Bangladesh wants, which is a hybrid where they play their games, or the rare chance that either of the parties gives in and accepts each other's demands, as in to say that Bangladesh agree and come and play in India, and they are reassured by the ICC for security. That's the third option. But as things stand, as I said, the kind of news that is coming in and the reports that are coming in and the statements that are being made, it does seem like that it's going to be a clash, and that clash is going to affect cricket as a sport in a major way. I know a lot of time people will see Bangladesh as being not as powerful as, let's say, in India, or to an extent even Pakistan, but let's not forget they are a permanent member, and whenever there is a clash, then it's never a clash of how big you are as a country or how proficient you are as a country in that sport. It is more to do with boardroom politics than anything else. And one vote is one vote at the end of the day. Anyway, we'll discuss that threadbare. With me is Harshit and Shane. And we'll start with a bit of news that's coming in from Bangladesh, because apparently there have been a lot of statements. Yeah. So let's break a few statements down, share it with our viewers, because that will give us an idea as to what Bangladesh is thinking at the moment, or what their next course of action can be.
Yeah, let's go and do that. But last 12-15 hours, what we've learnt is that they don't quite have that united front in their boardroom as well, as we're being told, or as we were told until a certain point. So yeah, those statements are very interesting because it's one man's word against the other. Some of them are official, some of them have represented the team in the past. Former cricketers also weighing in on this, former administrators weighing in on this, and contrasting opinions. And what news agencies are reporting right now is that not everyone was perhaps on the same page as the BCCI officials, in particular the chairman, who went ahead and has now taken a hard line that we are not going to be going to India. Not everyone.
Let's look at statements, in particular. Sure. Let's get the not this. This is a response to the first statement. So let's get it in order, okay, let's take Tamim Iqbal, former captain, player of repute,
And was
from
captaining
Bangladesh.
them as recently as 23. And then after that retired in that tournament. He says that, look, Mustafizur's removal from the IPL is unfortunate. But I would take my decision after considering Bangladesh's position in world cricket and what the country's future.
Okay, let's analyze this particular statement. What do you make of it? What is he trying to...
He's being very reconciliatory, because this is just one. I remember I've done an in-depth video on his statements, and he's consistently hinted at that, the same thing.
This is just a gist. I mean,
And he's also said that, a lot of things can be resolved by dialogue. He said that very clearly. So I think he's looking at it, again, you have to remember, recently retired, is looking at it very much from a sporting perspective, saying, listen, do you want to go ahead with this? Because you do not know what the consequences may be. He's saying, whatever decision you're taking, I hope it is keeping Bangladesh's best cricketing interests in mind. If they really go ahead with a pullout, what's the guarantee tomorrow that there'll not be sanctions against them or something like that? I think that's his worry. So what he's saying is, listen, whatever you're doing, do it with a cool head. Do not let some heat under the collar influence your decisions. Don't see the red mist. He's being a little conciliatory about it and saying, listen, let's try and be rational here. Let's be rational here, folks. That's his assessment.
Yeah, I think he's leaving the door open for negotiation. Of course, this is just the gist that we are showing to our family members right now. But otherwise, if I was to just break down what exactly he said in, suppose, 3 paragraphs, in every paragraph you would see the mention or the sense that would prevail in those 3 paragraphs would be that of wanting dialogue and mulling more over this, not to go ahead, have a knee-jerk reaction, which those statements from him do sort of hint at this being an aggressive sort of a decision that BCB have hastily taken. He wants there to be more deliberation on this and not the kind of reaction that perhaps we've already seen.
Yeah, to me, it does seem like that he's actually, in no uncertain terms, telling not so much the BCB but the Bangladesh government, don't pull out. This is how I read it. He's categorically telling them that pull out is a bad option. He's telling them, because he keeps talking about, for me, cricket comes first and I'm only going to see what is right for Bangladesh cricket because I'm a cricketer. All that I understand. So, in effect, because he can't say it in as many words, he has said it that don't pull out. It's going to have long-term repercussions. This is going to harm Bangladesh cricket in the long run. So, he's warning them. In effect, he's also telling them that, see, because I think somewhere down the line, even he knows and everyone else knows in Bangladesh, whether it's the Bangladesh government or that the chances of ICC relenting are also not very strong. The chances of BCCI relenting are also not very strong. So there could be a scenario where both come head on, and then in that head on scenario, Bangladesh may have to pull out. And that he feels is dangerous for Bangladesh cricket. That is what he's saying. And if you ask me, I don't know what happens, but Tamim is not wrong in analyzing this, because while there could be a scenario that they stick to their guns and they might even get their pound of flesh that they're asking, who knows what happens. Maybe the ICC might relent as they relented in India's case and in Pakistan's case. But I think what he's trying to tell them, that what if it doesn't happen, then you are trying to get something much more than you've bargained for. So it's going to be a really bad scenario. So he's warning them. As soon as he said that, we've got another statement that's come from the government, which is he's the...
No, go back.
No, there is a government statement that has come.
The first one.
Yeah, this is NAZMUL Islam. He's not so much of a BCB official. I think he
is a BCB official and finance committee member as well.
So he's also part of the government.
Yeah.
He has said to Tamim Iqbal's statement, this time the people of Bangladesh witnessed with their own eyes the emergence of yet another proven Indian agent. So he's calling Tamim Iqbal an Indian agent, trying to peddle India's narrative. That is what he's saying. And now what this tells me, I'm not getting into whether he is right in calling Tamim Iqbal the agent or he's wrong in calling him an agent. That's their headache. Let them deal. But all I can gauge from this is the cricketers there are saying don't try and get into a misadventure, and the government is not going to change their stance. They are also, because again, this goes beyond cricket. This goes, to the point that their ex-prime minister is in India. This goes where they think that India has a hand in what is happening. This goes into India's reaction of not having Mustafizur because of attacks on minority. So it's become an ego clash. So I think the government is saying anyone who's saying something is an Indian agent. So that is what is happening at the moment. So it does also prove that Bangladesh may not take a step back, whatever may happen in the future.
This is classic politics to me. Time and again, hear this BJP, Congress, the moment Congress says something, that the US is also saying, what do you call the Congress party? The BJP says, oh, they're only peddling the US narrative, or more often than that, they're labeled as agents of Pakistan or be spreading or be Pakistan's wing here in India. So this is just classic politics to me, the way I look at this. Anything that doesn't suit my narrative, I attribute this to the party on the other side, and that's how I look at this situation. The BCB, as far as they're concerned, I think by now there is utmost clarity over the fact that they are only following orders. They may have a mind of their own, but they've been told to not use that mind, and they're subservient to their government after all, as I think would be the case in most parts of the world. You listen to exactly what the government of the day tells you, and if the interim government has told them that, listen, you cannot be going to India, that is exactly what you have to do. But you close your eyes and do that.
See, the thing is, as far as I know, the Bangladesh Cricket Board doesn't want. So they are in line with what Tamim Iqbal is saying. Because I think cricketers realize that they don't want
this. This is exactly where there is a split over there.
Yeah. So, but they also, I think why they are saying all this, see, it's not going to be easy for anyone to speak against the government, like Tamim is saying. The reason they are also saying, because this is just a 2-month interim sort of a government, right? They're going to have an election and they might have a different government in place. So I think they know that this is not a permanent solution. So I think, which is why the cricketers in Bangladesh are kind of telling these people who are taking these strong decisions that in 2 months' time you will go or may not be there. But your decision will have long-term repercussions on Bangladesh cricket. So before you become stubborn, before you say, no, it's our way or the highway, please be mindful of what might happen once you're not around. In that 2-month period, don't ruin it for us in a long term. I think that is what is happening at the moment. But again, the tournament is now. So it's not even, long time in the future that you can change it. So
what it tells you is that
looks like there's going to be a big clash.
Yeah, and the government, if they're not backing down from someone who up until very recently was captaining the side, yeah, this is definitely showing that their stance is here to stay. Unless something massive happens. And something massive, I mean, either it would require an ultimate U-turn or some sort of a concession that none of us could see coming. So, I don't know. I do think that unfortunately they've taken a hardline stance. Unfortunate or otherwise. Unfortunate why I say is because again, you're involving the sport in something that it actually has nothing to do with. But that's the way it's gone now.
I think it's now become, a normal thing now. 2 months back, we were talking about, sport not being mixed with politics. And what was that? We had that exact cocktail for more than a month at the Asia Cup, where sport, politics together. And how many times were you able to separate the two? Not even once.
Yeah, but the irony of all that is that the biggest peddler of that line was Mohsen Naqvi, a politician who's also into sports administration. That what you will.
Let's take a few more reactions and then we'll try and see what might come of this situation. MOMIMUL HAQUE, who's been a former player, says that BCB director NAZMUL Islam's comment on former national captain Tamim Iqbal, because he called him an Indian agent, he says totally unacceptable and disrespectful to the cricketing society in the country. Such behavior towards a cricketer is conflicted with the responsibility and morality of the board. So again, what this is proving, that within Bangladesh there's a big split between the cricketing world and what the interim government is trying to do. The cricketers there, the cricket administrators there, everyone realized that no, this is not the time to be stubborn, this is not the time to challenge the ICC, this is not the time to be pushing our way to a neutral venue. We've got one more reaction before we get into it, and this is this is Ashraful Haq, former BCB General Secretary. He said, you may have people who have never held a bat. In your case, you have Jay Shah, who has never held a cricket bat in a competitive match. Our sports advisors gives a statement that Bangladesh should not go to India. You cannot come out with rash statements like this. So Ashraful Haq, in effect, is saying that both parties are wrong. He's saying both countries are playing politics, and I think in his view, Bangladesh should tour India. In his view, I think he would mean that Mustafizur should have been allowed to play the IPL. What he's trying to say is keep politics away from cricket, but in both countries, whether it's in India or in Bangladesh, you've got people who've not really been cricket people as such, but somewhere related to politics. They are running the sport. That's why you've gotten politics in it, and that's why we're in a messy situation. That takes me to the larger point, and we can open the debate with that. Is his assessment kind of correct as well?
Absolutely. I think so. Because he also touches on...
And then both parties are to be blamed for bringing politics into sport.
Much as it'll be a hard lesson for a lot of people, but this entire thing started with the BCCI instructing KKR to release Mustafizur. Why was that? Why did that happen? There was no cricketing logic to it. Mustafiz didn't pick up an injury. None of that, sir. It came from direct political pressure. Political pressure that may have been generated on the ground, may have been generated on social media. Some politicians spoke out against it, but it came from political pressure. Similarly, what is coming now from Bangladesh stems directly from political pressure. He himself in this thing, he's saying also that if you had stronger sports administrators of the past, he name-checked Jagmohan Dalmia and NKP Salve, he name-checked even N. Srinivasan, and said that if you had these guys there, do you think something like this would happen? Saying they wouldn't let it because they're diplomatic people and they're smart cricket administrators. It wouldn't come to this. In fact, he even, if you're talking about dragging Bangladesh, he said, do you think there would have been this much of an uproar if the player that got barred from the IPL was nikhilnaz or Soumya Sarkar? He's saying it wouldn't have been.
But I think, you said, I agree with most points you said. The only point I disagree is that it didn't really start with Mustafizur. I think it all started with the Asia Cup.
Yeah.
That's where you got politics into sport. See, either you shouldn't have had a game with Pakistan. I think that should have been the right way. Or if you decided to play, then you should have kept the politics out of it. I said it at that time as well. Again, I'm not saying you should have been friendly, but mentioning of Operation Sindoor, things like that,
Soldiers.
Jets and this, both, every side not shaking hands. I think all of that was politics in play. Either you should have boycotted the tournament, but if you went to play the tournament, you would have played it straight face. As I said, you didn't have to be friends with Pakistan. You shouldn't have been. Both teams could have been, their own way. No friendly gestures at all, but just played properly. Whatever is protocol, simple protocol. Do the protocol and move forward from there. I think you allowed politics to come in from there. And then again, why do I say even Asia Cup? I think it goes back to that hybrid model.
The Asia Cup of 2023, that's where hybrid model first entered the lexicon of our sport. 2025 Champions Trophy carried forward that legacy. And now the ugliness is rearing its head here.
To that point, then I kind of agree. And I agree that had you still had, people like Jagmohan Dalmia or for that matter, NKP Salve, I.S. Bindra, there were many, administrators of repute who really knew how to. In fact, Jagmohan Dalmia is famous for, as I said, I've done a sport tale on that, of how he got
BCB.
No, not just BCB. He got so many boards together. He was the first chairman of the ICC. It wasn't easy. They just did not, they didn't even give him an office room, things like humiliated him. But he got people together. He got the first time he fought the election, he lost because he lost on technicality. They said, these votes, overall majority he had got, but they said, no, so many member playing nations, you have to get this %, all that. He realized, he worked around it smartly and he went there. It wasn't like this. And I think today you are trying to play, and then this is my problem. And in that sense, I agree with Tamim and all. Just as he is talking for cricket and keeping politicians aside and even panning his own politicians, to that extent, I will say, because we are also people of sport, we are people of cricket. I don't really much care about the politics. For me, cricket first. And that's why I say, even when it comes to India, Pakistan, I said it earlier as well. Every time there was an India-Pakistan issue, cricket becomes the scapegoat. Cricket is the one that you speak of. No cricket with Pakistan. Okay, sure. Do other things also that you're supposed to do. The trade with Pakistan, it may have been reduced, still exists till today. All other tournaments with Pakistan continue to happen without you seeing it. So every time you have to deal with Pakistan, why is cricket the medium to deal with it? Why can't you deal with it diplomatically? As I said, when you go to the UN, that's where you have to get countries together and get them together to identify Pakistan as a terrorist state. You can't do that. Yeah. Or you need to do other things, or you deal with them militarily, which you have to an extent. But maybe more. I'm not an expert on that. But my point is, every time cricket can't be that thing.
It becomes the scapegoat.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. It has become, now cricket's become a political thing. You've started using it for political brownie points. Ahead of everything, you have to prove that, we are in control. So cricket will be used. That I disagree with. You take a call, I'm okay. If you decide no cricket with X, Y, Z. But I think it was all started with that whole India-Pakistan thing, and both countries did it. They used it. Pakistan also did it very wisely. You spoke about Mohsin Naqvi, is a politician, also used it, came to attend his team's practice session, also earned brownie points. He was also very smart. India has also done it to an extent. And now Bangladesh is jumping onto the bandwagon, saying we'll also show our patriotism.
Incidentally, the thing is, it starts, let's say, right from Pakistan to India, runs through Bangladesh as well. I think the way the politics is run and what we are seeing play out, it's the same playbook. Maybe it's just a subcontinental politics thing, and this is the kind of politics that works in this part of the world. And just on Ashraful HAQUE, what he says, I think diplomatically there is no better stance that you can have in terms of handling this situation. This is what a true statesman would speak like. You're trying to find a middle ground.
No. What he said about India, I don't think is going to go down well. I mean, so if he was
the message that he has,
if he was trying to get India on its side after he's directly attacked,
that I'm saying, if I'm just looking at the larger message that he has, if I'm trying to infer what he said,
this is not diplomatic, nah. This is being blunt, and I don't think being blunt.
He doesn't need to be diplomatic. He's not in a position of power.
What I'm saying is that you get the message at some point. You agree with him as well that the moment that you have people of political allegiance managing sport for you or running the show for you, this will happen. This is exactly what we've seen happen as well. Earlier, the difference was that you had the likes of Dalmia's, etc., who had little association with that, and the body would run independently and would not. Let's not forget that the BCCI has also criticized of being the political arm of the powers that be. That is also being reported in our own country. You cannot run away from that.
Dalmia, I remember, not only at a national level, he beat Sharad Pawar once, who was in the party as an ally in the central committee. He beat him. Yeah. That means the BCCI system allowed the party that is in power also to lose. Dalmia beat in the CAB, Cricket Association of Bengal, he beat the Commissioner of Police, Prasun Mukherjee, who was backed by the ruling government CPIM at that time. The Chief Minister backed him, that candidate. And yet Dalmia beat him. All my point is that as a cricket administrator, you could even at a state level beat the party in power, at a national level also beat the party in power. Exactly. And that because he knew cricket, he knew, how to manage cricketing votes, and that would allow. I mean, that's what I said the other day. What you have in the BCCI now, because you don't even have BCCI elections. So now it's no more, BCCI officials are not elected, they're selected. They're pretty much selected for each position. They've been selected, they've been told, they all take care of that position. Elections haven't happened in the last 2
Yeah, you get elected unopposed. Everyone is getting elected.
Because that's selection, no, it's not election.
No, it's happening at the state level as well. Yeah. Let me not get down to naming those state elections, but yes, so many of your recently elected board chairmen are all unopposed.
Let's go to the main point. What happens now?
Just the one bit that I couldn't complete earlier, and let's get to that. I think why this is, I get the sentiment what Ashraful HAQUE says, that okay, perhaps both parties are guilty, etc., and we sort of agree as well that, as you say, it wouldn't have happened had India not hard pressed on the fact that we're not going to have Asia Cup in Pakistan, Champions Trophy, all of that. Perhaps that was the starting point, and that's when the emergence of this trend of hybrid and all began. But the point is, I think globally, if you see the way sport is getting polarized, I think now, gone are those days. Maybe 20 years back, or you would have said, or maybe a decade back as well, we could have said those things, that sport politics has to be kept differently. Now I think in today's day and age, look at what FIFA and the UEFA also did with teams attached to or teams that played under the Russian flag as well. That also was because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now I think the polarization, not just in cricketing world but overall, has become such that you can't afford to have. There is perhaps no separating now. The two are just hand in hand with each other. There aren't two separate entities anymore.
So that is what is going to be the test. So if you want to do that in that scenario, everyone comes on the same page and then eliminates a team. Let's say in Bangladesh's case, then for ICC to have any sort of control, all countries will have to be together and they have to in that agree that okay, we'll have the tournament without Bangladesh, because that's what you did to countries associated with Russia in that sense. So that is the kind of power you exerted, led by the US. The Western Bloc comes together, you do it. That again, going to the question, what happens now? Can ICC also do that? Because you're taking pangas with India, BCCI can muster everyone and you can isolate Bangladesh and you can go forward and the tournament goes on without Bangladesh. Is that what is going to happen?
I think the ICC will wait for Bangladesh to take a call. Because
let's say it's a status quo.
Letter,
they've sent us and we are not playing. Now ICC has to take a decision, no?
Yeah.
So let's say
they'll have to reiterate it.
They'll either have to tell them that okay, two things only ICC can do. One, they can say no, we're not changing anything.
Either
you play or you're out. Or the second option is this: fine, we've taken your request in mind and we are shifting our matches. So what happens now?
I mean, basis what we can see so far, I don't think they're in a mood to relent to that extent. I think they're wanting to, I think if they thought, the ICC thought that it was a security concern, then they've said we'll provide extra security. I'm not sure that they would go for the Sri Lanka thing, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's all up in the air, because in an ideal world you could say no, probably don't go for it because there's no actual security threat.
But how I see it now, okay, good. Like Shane makes a point that looks like that ICC will eventually relent and go for it. That seems the safer option, right? But now I'm reading a lot of reports that are coming out in mainstream media where now apparently the Indian government, because even they've taken it as an ego issue, saying that we will not allow this, in which they have communicated it to the BCCI. As I said today on the sidelines of WPL, BCCI is going to be meeting. Jay Shah, the chairman of the ICC, is going to be there. Let's not forget he comes from India. So all of that. So if this is the kind of mood that there is in India and this is the kind of stance that Indian government has taken, can the BCCI then afford to go against what India wants them to do?
No, they can't.
So then what happens then? Let's not forget that.
I think, see, ultimately there's going to be one party which is not going to be happy about this, and I doubt if India are going to be that party. I think India as host may just get things done their way. I think, and you have a very good reason perhaps. You cited the Asia Cup example the other day, that last minute 11th hour you were able to hold some of the India matches in Sri Lanka and things sailed through. I think right now you do have a very good excuse of there being very less time. This is not just an Asia Cup involving 5 teams. This is the T20 World Cup where there are associates involved as well. And this is not just about having one team travel to Sri Lanka now. This is about 4 other teams, because 4 matches of Bangladesh was supposed to be taking place here in India. Now everything goes awry, then you tell those teams as well that listen, you can't come here, you go there. So many logistical hurdles, etc., etc. I think you can just cite that as a logistical hurdle, be one of the very strong excuse. And
so what do? You tell Bangladesh out now? So what do you do with the tournament then? Can you, because you're saying less time left, can you get a replacement team at this hour? If you cannot, then what happens to those matches? Those matches don't go ahead, right? That's the other thing, which also doesn't reflect well on the tournament. That's one thing. That's the first scenario that you have to look forward to, which is not an ideal scenario either. Second scenario is that let's say you take a call that Bangladesh is out, right? Now the Bangladesh Cricket Board is also going to be under pressure, or the Bangladesh government will also try and, what are they going to do? You will say that you can't play and then they'll sit and be fine with it? No, right? So what happens then? Do phones start ringing? Do you call up countries that have been aggrieved by India in the past and say that, listen, you have to stand up? stand with us. That's what happens, not typically. So what happens? Do they pick up the phone and call a Mohsin Naqvi, who's anyway been mighty upset, and India has been upset with him, and you're at loggerheads?
Pakistan though anyway not playing their matches in India.
No, I'm saying about tournament.
Pull out.
I don't know.
I doubt
I'm saying,
again.
What does Bangladesh
again,
do?
you take the diplomatic route then, and yes, of course, you ring up a few people that you may have decent relationships with. Let's not forget that.
Sometimes maybe their relationship is also not great, but because
yeah,
it's
as
a
is
common,
the case with Pakistan.
Enemies,
foe,
enemies, my friend.
Yeah, enemies, my friend. But I doubt. See, Pakistan anyway have that thing, right? ICC will say, listen, you got exactly what you wanted. You told us 8-10 months back, you put out that thing that it's going to be quid pro quo. India don't come, we don't go. Simple as that. Your matches are there. Why are you jumping into
standing
this?
for them?
ICC will tell that to Pakistan. Now, who will they go to? Sri Lanka? You can only go to Sri Lanka then. As Bangladesh, who else do you go to?
Sri Lanka may not have any reason also
Exactly.
to stand with Bangladesh. I'm
So,
not. The
what
only
do
country who might have a reason is
Then
is
do you go to
Pakistan.
Afghanistan then? You're not going to go to
Afghanistan
Australia.
is
Australia and
also
all
with
are
India.
beyond Bangladesh.
No. I'm saying they are also with this. You can only go to Pakistan. That's the thing. Right now, there was a time few years ago that even Australia, England weren't happy because you had that split in the ICC, and they would use an opportunity not to do that. But right now, see, no country would want to alienate India, because at the end of the day, money comes from here. Their yearly revenue, that includes Bangladesh, that includes Pakistan. Truth be told, they all make money because of the money coming here. But that's not be all and end all. No, India also has to realize, and of course they do realize, that to keep the system alive, you would be the cash cow, but to keep the system alive, you have to take the flock together.
Yeah.
That's why the system is alive. That's why it's bringing in, okay, one Bangladesh may not matter as much. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if it was to reach a scenario that it extends to a few countries, you see, you've got to realize even ICC. I'll give an example. When this whole thing happened between India and Pakistan also, we thought that why would ICC listen to Pakistan? Main money comes from India, and they'll say it, in as many terms, play or go off.
Follow the money.
But what you realize is that BCCI also has to ensure that their tournament goes together. They have to bring everyone on the same page. That's what they try and do. Any tournament team going out has a massive impact on the tournament. I'm not even talking about bad press or something. The whole, equation of the tournament goes all right. So, and you have to look at the future as well. There'll be bilateral series, you have a WTC. There's so many things that ICC have to look at. It's not an easy position to be in. And I'm just saying, today you and I can sit here and give any statement. Remove this, bring this, do this. If you are actually managing the ICC,
You think of the repercussions.
you have to think of too many things.
Yeah.
So ideal scenario for ICC is don't fight. Let's, come together. Go ahead with this tournament. Or I would be telling Bangladesh that, listen, fine, I know you're not happy with whatever happened. Don't make it an ego issue. Come and play this tournament. In a way, we'll try and compensate you going forward.
Boards will understand
That's
that.
what you have.
But governments don't.
Exactly my point.
Boards will understand that.
Yeah.
If you come down to the negotiation bit, if you're at the table here to negotiate, trying to find a middle ground, boards will understand, because boards want the benefit of the sport, and the benefit of the sport is in the best teams playing, in the best players playing, and there be no surround sound about all of this.
Functioning of the Bangladesh Cricket Board won't function.
Exactly.
Their revenue, about 80-90% comes from ICC.
Just put it this way.
How will they function?
If you look at compare and contrast, go back in time, when the first time in the Asia Cup we proposed the hybrid model, technically it wasn't even us. Who was the one who was heading the board at that point in time? It was Najam Sethi. It's very much a cricket administrator, as it were. Yes, he has his own career as a media
all a
person.
politician.
Yeah,
but
he's also.
He was someone who had a long time hand in running the board. He knew. He's like, listen, I'm not going to try and do anything wrong. India have this demand, no problem. The tournament should go ahead first and foremost. Who really dug his heels in? He was Naqvi. The seasoned politician who had no clue on sporting administrative matters.
It happened in Asia Cup just now.
Yeah. It happened
when they delayed that game.
It happened with
They
that.
called Najam Sethi. He came.
And he was the one who
his office.
mediated.
Yes.
Yeah, he spoke and then told, because what I believe, Naqvi had decided they're not playing that match.
Yeah.
Pakistan was forfeiting that
Najam
match.
Sethi himself came out and said it.
No, they had that Ramiz, Najam Sethi,
Yes,
and
that
Naqvi had a meeting.
visual we've seen. Yeah, Najam was there.
And then he told them
Because
that
Don't
it
be
reached
crazy.
the point, because see, these at that time, yes, Mohsin Naqvi could have again been the karta dharta and done exactly what he wanted to do. But he realized that this is a cricketing affair and he needed cricketing logic as well. This is where cricketing diplomacy, sporting diplomacy comes into the picture. Until then, you hadn't heard Najam Sethi. He disagreed with Najam Sethi on so many counts when it came down to the ill-prepared stadiums, etc. He was taking pot shots at Najam Sethi. Yeah. But then, come the hour where you needed a resolution, you rang up all these guys who know how cricket works.
Yeah. And the current dispensations on both sides don't really seem to know that. That is where the digging of the heels is coming into play. That no, we only want this. It's our pride is being wounded. We're not looking at it as a sport anymore. That ship has sailed.
See, the easiest option as things stand right now would seem that if as I said, if it comes to a clash where both parties are not moving, the easiest option would seem like that the tournament goes ahead without Bangladesh. That also wouldn't be very easy because again, those matches will not happen. Who do you bring in as a replacement? Although that seems like the easiest option. I think that could be a step that the ICC can take, though it won't be an easy step for them to take because remember, they have to think of everyone going together, no matter how big or small a team. The only area where things can come to a head, and that is why ICC needs to be prepared for everything, because I think today that meeting that is going to happen on the sideline of WPL, I think is that meeting where they're going to be looking at the next strategy. As I said, ICC chairman is there, BCCI bigwigs there. I'm sure they have a direct line with the Indian government at the moment, and looks like if it's an ego issue for Bangladesh, going to be an ego issue for India as well. So they'll say nothing doing, we're not going to allow matches to shift out. So if that is the case, then most likely scenario is ICC says tournament without Bangladesh. The only problem, as I see, the only problem area comes is if one or two countries jump into that whole conflict, then it becomes bigger than just a India-Bangladesh conflict. And I don't know what the future will be there, but in days to come we'll find out. I guess today that informal meeting, but as I'm getting to know that the Indian government has been in touch with BCCI and has told them, let ICC know we're not going to allow for a hybrid model, which again could have been the second easiest solution for ICC. First would have been to get Bangladesh to come and play. Second, if let's say the Indian government had no issue, we don't care, then second easiest option would be, okay, nobody has a problem, go play in Sri Lanka. At least for them the tournament would go ahead. But now if it becomes a clash, then it's interesting days ahead.
And the funny part is we're already seeing testers of it. As I had mentioned, the PSL Twitter account has confirmed that Mustafizur will be playing in the PSL next year. The player auction also hasn't taken place, but they're missing no opportunity whatsoever to try and gain some brownie points. Let's put it like that. So, yeah. Who really knows? Can we take some comments from him?
Yeah.
So, we've got Pushpavati saying that, Nikhil, why should the BCCI put out statements for fans and test failure? Why should they do for you? These are important, not for the BCCI. I only accept your points on the venue. Jaipur, Rajasthan, Hyderabad, worst venues.
Oh, he's talking about
yesterday's
discussion.
Yeah, well, but it's not why shouldn't they?
Exactly.
My point is, they don't put a statement. Forget that. Has any review happened? Has any decision been taken? They should come out and say, no, of course they should. Every other board, whenever there has been a crisis or an issue, you communicate, you have a press conference. You don't put a statement out, you come address the press conference, whether it's the board secretary or you send the captain or coach or whoever, they come and address saying, yes, this was the issue. These are the two series. Here we lost. We've identified such areas and we're working on a plan. Of course, you're supposed to. Everyone does. You take any sport, a country, gets knocked out. Italy doesn't qualify for a FIFA World Cup. There's a meeting. There's a national outrage. The head of the Football Federation will come out and explain what has happened, what they've identified are the problem areas, what are their plans going forward. Everyone has to do that. It can't be an opaque thing. It's not it is not a private team of corporate team that only the company is bothered. Why should be telling the public at large? It's not that. As I said, if it was a company, they're only answerable to their shareholders. And similarly, even if you treat BCCI as a society, because it is registered as that, every one of you is a shareholder. You all deserve to know 100%.
Pushpavati again saying, praising the England board. I hate these comparisons with other boards. In the last 2 years under Baz, England are losing every white ball and red ball series they are going, and they're going to play the World Cup qualifiers, but India are way better than England.
100%. Who's disagreeing?
No one has disagreed with that.
What has that got to do with
The fact
anything
that they
else?
For accountability.
Yeah, it's like saying, I praise that, the watching experience of a cricket match in West Indies is far better than any stadium in India. And you're going to tell me, why are you praising the Caribbean? Look at how their cricket is. They are the worst cricket. We are such a good cricketing team. Of course, you're a good cricketing team. And that is something that we are all proud of, is celebrate. And West Indies is not that. But if they have better experiences while watching a live game, then what stops us from
Aping that.
Yeah, exactly my point. I think you're not understanding the difference between identifying flaws or dissing Indian cricket.
Exactly. No one's dissing Indian cricket. Huh?
Yeah.
In fact,
I think you've taken it upon yourself as to be the
defender in chief.
or the biggest fan there is of Indian cricket. That may not be true. There could be people here who could be bigger fans than you of Indian cricket or the Indian team. The fact is that if there are some issues, that's your job to highlight that.
In fact, he continues on that same tangent, saying that if you can take 12 years success period in tests, learn to take failures and lose. Now you want every time in India to win, even though Australia lost home test 3 times, India 2 times, SA once, drawn against the West Indies once. But
I'm a fan. I'm not a blind fan. Okay, I mean, and if I've done well, then it's okay. Now I'm not doing well, it's okay. No, I will introspect why I'm not doing well and where I can be. What's wrong with that? Is it exactly? That's anybody in that. India is winning T20s, as Shivam is pointing out. We're praising the Indian T20 team for things they're doing right. But 1 or 2 areas are not working. Let's say Sky's form is not great. We're supposed to point that out.
Yeah, we were consistently pointing out that even when the team was doing well, we kept saying, but the vice captain is also a concern. What happened eventually? The vice captain got dropped.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is that if India is doing very well in T20 and we say, no, just scrap this team and remove it. That
just enjoy.
Yeah,
That's not how it works. Not how it works. Yeah. Just so we're clear, I'll give you an example spanning beyond sports. I mean, you look at teams in, say, football, F1, etc., teams who have won championships a few seasons back, and then when they stop winning, their fans are in uproar.
Of course.
So that happens. You don't just settle for it saying, like Manchester United, for instance, had 2 decades worth of glory under Fergie. Are you going to tell their fans now that, learn to live with the failures? Not how it works. Their fans want success. Yeah. All fans want success. That's pretty much how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Never won it. That's a different matter.
Rohit Juglan says that
from Canada.
You think why didn't BCCI attend the ACC meet in Bangladesh?
Yes.
Virtually they did.
Yes, but it was more. I mean, of course, there were political reasons also. Because Bangladesh was siding with Pakistan at that time, and that was the other issue. First, they had said that they'd boycott the meeting, but then they attended it virtually. And then the call was taken to have India participate in the Asia Cup, which earlier was being reported won't happen. That's what I'm saying. See, certain things, it's very easy for you to say, nahi karna, whatever, but in larger
repercussions,
issues and situations, you have to find a middle ground, because it may harm. It's like, 2 of us getting into a fight and one of us is much stronger. He'll say, I'll, win the fight. But you also have to go with the thought in mind that you'll also get a lot of bruises and cuts. Am I okay to do that? Or I'd rather not get into it and go home happy without any bruises. It's not about...
Very simple rule of maybe street fighting as well. If you're taking up one, be prepared to take a few blows, even when you're confident of knocking the other person down.
Just ask Harry Brook.
Okay, we've got Sachin Tendulkar. He says, different topic. The presence of Saikya in the World Cup squad announcement press conference is a symbol of GG and Agarkar power getting declined or monitored. Does Agarkar continue after 2026
Nothing of
World
the
Cup?
sort. BCCI press, the BCCI secretary is more often than not always the signing authority for all the squads. That's probably why he was there. No other
But the
reason.
thing is that he had not been there in previous press conferences. While he was there, I think that was also because, as far as I know, there was a press conference right after by the coach when the test
Debacle.
series they had lost, and I think that just went a little out of hand and created a lot of controversy.
Yes.
So I think he came there to ensure that
If at all the temperature in the room rose
exactly.
to a level.
I think that
I remember that press conference. Gambhir entered like this. That's his entering stance. And I'm like, oh man, he's just waiting for a reason. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's going to drop a bomb. He'll drop a bomb. And he drops several bombs.
Okay, Anshu Mishra says, Nikhil sir, yesterday we were watching Ash's presentation. What an outstanding atmosphere it was. Thousands of fans were present in the ground. The BCCI can never do this. Australia is the
Yeah, but
best.
this is not just down to the
To
BCCI. I'm
BCCI,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that video of two fans trying to haul Rohit Sharma out of his car when they were trying to take a selfie with him. I'm sorry, we ourselves don't help ourselves. There's a reason drinking is not allowed, drinking alcohol that is not allowed in Indian stadiums. I shudder to think what would happen if you have
can't.
drunken experiences happening
You
over
just
there.
cannot afford to have that. Also for that you will have to fix your urinals if you're planning to
God.
give. So yeah, it's bad.
Connect to Karthik from the UK says, the Indian Express article on why Root isn't an all-time test cricket is awesome. Never dominated best bowlers of his generation. Bumrah, Cummins, Hazelwood, SRT, Lara, Ponting did.
Yeah, I understand the.
It's an
thing to
interesting
extent.
article,
It's an
actually.
interesting article,
Yeah,
and
I read
I
that.
understand the premise. My point is, those number of runs you can't ignore. No matter. I agree. I would say that he's not the best batter of the generation. That would be Steve Smith. But if you're trying to tell me he's not behind Steve Smith and that Virat Kohli was better, I'm sorry. Again, there the numbers thing also comes into play. Kohli could not crack 10K. That is something you will hold against him. It is.
Okay, Harun says, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh all should keep politics away from cricket. Not only World Cups, they should continue bilateral.
I have very high hopes, Arun.
Yeah.
Harun, I don't think in the scenario between India and Pakistan that there can be any bilateral.
Not
and
at all,
that's
not
all
at all.
right.
At
But
the moment-
I would say that when you go into multilateral tournaments, either don't go or go, then keep all other nonsense aside.
I like what Veer Shah is saying. He's saying that despite being the richest and biggest board, BCCI are really short-sighted. Did they not see Bangladesh reacting to this?
Yeah.
Just because you're the richest board doesn't give you the right to bully.
No, so my only thing with Vihir is, I don't think they were trying to bully them. Okay, and I had a different opinion on that. I also believe that what is happening to the minorities in Bangladesh, it may have been tough for a lot of us Indian fans to be seeing a
True.
Bangladesh players play in the IPL. I'm being very honest about it. And so it wouldn't have been fair to have Mustafizur play in an IPL because IPL is a celebration. I can't have a player from a nation where there are attacks against minority and he's playing here. So the BCCI on that thing took the right call. But again, we've spoken about it earlier. Maybe it could have been done better. Maybe this is something they could have preempted and done it in advance so that it wouldn't seem like you're insulting a country. I also feel that Bangladesh, in that sense, this call is taken. Again, my opinion is Bangladesh should treat it as a IPL vis-a-vis what is India is doing, and not take it on their ego and make it about we will now not come to India. I think they're also, I know they had to react, maybe they could have reacted in a different way, but now they've made this into in an ego issue of a World Cup. I think they're also pushing it. But then that's my opinion. I don't know whether Bangladesh will look like that. But to the point that I give Vihir is that, a lot of things that you're doing overall, that's why I go back to from Asia Cup onwards. You needed a bit more maturity from BCCI, which hasn't happened. That
I
I'll
mean,
agree with.
far-sightedness has really not been there. Even if you consider the ban thing, okay, I understand the sentiment. My point is, then why did you allow them to sign up for the auction? If you did, why did you not communicate it to the franchise afterwards saying, listen, we let them sign up. That's a mistake on our part. Just don't bid for any of them. Sorted. There was only one player bid for anyway. There were no players bid for, no big deal. You would have not been having this problem.
While we still don't know what happens, but in this whole scenario, let's be honest, BCCI have two advantages. One being the host, the other being the financial muscle that they enjoy. However, the BCCI, while just hypothetically, if you're to assume that they get things done their way over the course of the next couple of months, Bangladesh come, they play, whatever. But what happens come the month of August? Bangladesh, by the way, have already announced that India is scheduled to travel in the month of August. Will now the BCCI be allowing the team to go at that time?
No, it won't happen.
Exactly.
Not a chance.
Exactly. So this is, if this is something that Bangladesh take to the ICC at the moment, because last year's tour was also rescheduled and postponed to this year, then Bangladesh will have a very firm case, whatever, retrospectively then. And this is where the BCCI end up losing out then, in the eyes of the ICC. Yes, you may have an Indian represent you over there, but there is some sort of neutrality that's expected, because the body then loses its integrity as a result. And then there'll be more boards questioning that, okay, you had Bangladesh come down to visit you for the World Cup, but when it was your job to go there, as was the schedule, you didn't honor your commitment. How do you get away with
That's
that?
why I said, I mean, it'll WTC, what happens there, which team plays, what happens in the future. It'll just be an issue going forward. It needs a bit of sorting.
Anyway, you don't play Pakistan. Next, you'll not play Bangladesh also.
Yeah. Okay, it's a developing story. We'll keep bringing you all the latest updates as and when they come to us. You let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Give us a like in the video if you're enjoying our content. Plenty more up on Sports Radio. Do check that out. For the moment, from Shane, Harshit and I, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabbak Khair.
Eat your vegetables, don't trouble your mother, and subscribe to Sports Day.